New York City, the concrete heart of the modern world, towers kissing the clouds, subways humming below, millions moving above. Every inch feels permanent, solid, eternal. But what if that strength is also its slow undoing? Beneath the weight of 8 million lives, the ground is shifting downward. Scientists say it's sinking by up to 2 millimeters a year. That tiny number hides a ticking clock, especially when the Atlantic is rising even faster. The same gravity that holds this city together is now dragging it under. 1 trillion tons of ambition pressing on rock and soil. The city that reached for the sky may be slowly burying itself beneath the waves. So the question isn't if New York is sinking. It's how fast and how long it can hold on before the sea takes what humans built with steel and pride. Because a disaster like this doesn't open with crashing waves. It starts quietly, beneath your feet. Beneath that glittering skyline lies a secret measured in trillions of tons. More than 1 million buildings, skyscrapers, bridges, tunnels, asphalt, even the endless miles of subways pressed down together with unimaginable force. All told, scientists estimate the city's total weight at about 1.7 trillion pounds, equal to nearly 4,700 Empire State Buildings crushing the ground below. This pressure forces the Earth to compact, a process called subsidence. It's a natural shift that happens everywhere, but New York's mass makes it worse. Certain neighborhoods, according to the US Geological Survey, are dropping by as much as 2 millimeters each year, an almost invisible descent that never stops. Midtown Manhattan, with its granite bedrock foundation, hardly budges. But in Brooklyn, Queens, and southern Manhattan, where the ground is softer and built on man-made fill, the city's weight is dragging the Earth down faster. Every new building, every added layer of concrete adds to the burden. Imagine the entire city resting on a pillow that's been compressed for centuries. Even if construction froze tomorrow, that pillow would keep sinking. Because this story of collapse started long before glass and steel ruled the horizon. To understand why New York sinks, you have to go back 20,000 years, to the end of the Ice Age. A glacier miles thick once covered much of North America, pressing the northern land down under its unimaginable weight. South of it, the ground bulged upward, like the lifted end of a seesaw. That raised land is where New York stands today. When the ice finally melted, the north began to rebound. Freed from the glacier's weight, it slowly lifted upward. But like that same seesaw, the region around New York began to tilt downward. Scientists call it glacial isostatic adjustment, a process that still continues today. The Earth, in its own slow rhythm, is simply returning to balance. So yes, New York is sinking, and not just because of skyscrapers or subways. The planet itself is still flexing from an ancient memory of ice and pressure. Every year, the ground inches lower, following a movement that started long before humans wrote their first blueprint. But this isn't the only invisible force working against the city, because while the land drifts down, another hungrier force is rising to meet it. The ocean that made New York powerful is now its greatest threat. Sea levels along the US northeast coast are rising 3 to 4 millimeters per year. Stack that on top of the city's own descent, and you get a combined rise of nearly half a centimeter annually. Tiny changes, yes, but relentless ones. Over time, they transform flood maps into tombstones for old shorelines. The warning became real in 2012 when Hurricane Sandy slammed a 14-foot storm surge into lower Manhattan. Subway tunnels turned into rivers, power plants exploded underwater, and neighborhoods from Staten Island to the Rockaways vanished beneath the tide. The storm caused $19 billion in damage and revealed an uncomfortable truth. The city built on resilience had cracks in its armor. Sandy was a preview, not a fluke. In the years since, extreme high-water events in lower Manhattan have quadrupled. What used to be a 100-year flood could soon happen every 5 to 10 years. The math is unmistakable. The ocean keeps climbing, and the city keeps sinking. Salt water creeps into basements, corrodes steel, and seeps into subway lines. Storm drains back up. Sewer systems crack under pressure. With every flood, the ocean claims a little more of the city's infrastructure and patience. But New York has never been a place that accepts defeat. When the ocean threatens, the city's answer isn't surrender, it's reinvention. After Sandy, architects and engineers began reimagining the edges of Manhattan. Their mission? Transform vulnerability into defense. The flagship project became the Big U, a massive 16-kilometer ring of parks, levees, and flood walls curving around Lower Manhattan like a shield. But it's more than a wall. It's designed as public spaces, bike paths, promenades, and gardens that function as protection only when disaster strikes. During a storm, metal gates swing down from beneath highways. Park walls elevate and lock into place, transforming leisure into survival. Beyond Manhattan, Staten Island's living breakwaters are being built just offshore. Rows of sculpted rock mounds that reduce wave power while doubling as habitats for oysters and fish. They're silent guardians breaking each surge before it hits land. On the Rockaway Peninsula, 4-meter-high sand dunes stretch for kilometers, stabilized by seagrasses and fencing, protecting homes behind them. In Brooklyn, living shorelines merge wetlands and parks to drain floodwaters naturally. These designs show something profound: humanity learning to dance with nature rather than dominate it, beauty and resilience functioning as one. But massive infrastructure demands massive patience and money. The Big U alone could cost tens of billions and take decades to complete, too slow for a sea that rises every day. Grand ideas often crumble under paperwork. Every new plan faces public hearings, environmental reviews, lawsuits, and shifting politics. Some fear losing treasured waterfronts, others hate the idea of concrete walls shadowing their neighborhoods. Governments argue about budgets and ownership while deadlines blur. One administration pledges billions for climate defense, another cuts it halfway through construction. And for smaller coastal communities, places like the Rockaways or Red Hook, help always seems a few storms too late. Even scientists disagree. Building huge walls could save Manhattan but worsen flooding for New Jersey or Long Island. Each victory risks another's loss. It's a moral and geographic puzzle that leaves everyone vulnerable. The ocean, of course, ignores these debates. It doesn't wait for permits. It just keeps moving. And as frustration grows, a new philosophy is taking root. What if survival doesn't mean building higher walls, but changing how we live within the water's reach? Welcome to the next frontier, the sponge city. Instead of resisting floods, this approach absorbs them. Replace asphalt with porous pavement that lets rain sink through. Turn rooftops into gardens that trap and filter runoff. Build floating parks and floodable plazas designed to fill temporarily, protecting surrounding streets. Some new waterfront buildings are elevated above ground level, leaving open air on the first floor so stormwater can pass harmlessly underneath. Underground, engineers are carving new reservoirs to catch and slowly release rainfall before it burdens the sewer system, some of which dates back nearly 2 centuries. This isn't just innovation, it's philosophy. The understanding that conquering nature doesn't work forever. Cities must bend, flex, and breathe. In this vision, New York becomes an amphibious organism, half city, half coastline, alive and responsive. Other metropolises are watching closely. London, Bangkok, and Miami are exploring similar ideas. Each success in New York could ripple across the world, but scientists warn these changes only buy time. Every wall, every drainage system will eventually meet its limit, and that leads to the most controversial topic of all: what happens when adaptation isn't enough? Behind closed doors, some planners whisper a phrase that chills even the most seasoned officials: managed retreat. It means that at a certain point you stop rebuilding and start moving. If emissions stay high and seas keep rising, parts of Lower Manhattan could flood permanently by the end of this century. No hurricanes needed. High tides alone could spill into streets that once felt untouchable. It isn't science fiction, it's a timetable. Around the world, we're already seeing it unfold. Jakarta is building a whole new capital inland because the old one is sinking. Venice floods so often that wooden foundations are rotting faster than repairs can keep up. In the US, parts of coastal Louisiana are already abandoned to the Gulf. New York might face the same choice someday, though few want to imagine it. But if history proves anything, it's that the city always rebuilds. Fires, blackouts, terror, recessions, New York adapts again and again. If its shoreline must move inland, the city will move with it. The only question is whether that change will be voluntary or forced by the tides. New York's story is becoming the planet's story. From Miami to Mumbai, cities that shaped human progress now stand in water's path. We built our empires on borrowed land, and the bill is coming due. But there's still time, barely, to write a different ending. New York holds money, talent, and defiance in equal measure. If it can reinvent itself once more, it could model survival for the rest of the world. Yet the clock is moving faster than the plans. Each year brings new record storms, hotter oceans, and higher tides. The line between preparation and too late grows thinner with every season. Someday historians may point to this moment and ask whether we acted or simply watched, because every civilization believes its foundations are permanent, but the ground always shifts. New York once reached upward to define the modern age. Now its greatest challenge lies below. The question isn't just whether the city will sink, it's whether humanity can rise fast enough to keep up.